is that smell I am hearing? And why do I feel so wet?
Ifunanya said in a sleepy voice. The cry and wails of Mrs. Oluchi echoed throughout the neighborhood on one fateful Saturday night in Lafenwa village. The rain poured down immediately the sound of the baby's cry was heard. Finally, Mrs. O is a mother. After 5 years of being married to the prominent town crier, Mr. Oluchi. The villagers were so happy because the long-awaited 9 months had finally ended. 5 minutes later, the cry of another baby was heard.
Oh, not just one bundle of joy, but 2 bundles,
one of the villagers said. The Oluchis were congratulated for the next weeks because that was the first set of twins that would be bettered in the land in a very long time. This brought good news to the land and the people of Lafenwa village.
It even rained after many months of drought.
Our crops can finally yield its increase.
These girls must be sources of blessings, not just to their parents, but to everyone,
the neighbors said to themselves. The twins were well fed and brought up with love by the villagers. 8 days after the twins were born, a naming ceremony was thrown to celebrate the arrival of the baby girls. Close relatives and neighbors brought gifts and food items to celebrate the twins. Although non-identical, they were the epitome of beauty. After all, babies are beautiful, right? As they grew older, their differences became more evident. While Ifunanya appeared thin, dark-skinned, and ugly as the villagers constantly called her, Ifeoma, on the other hand, was light-skinned and possessed all the potential curves a woman might have. This made the twins have different childhood experiences. Weren't you fed the same breast milk and portions of food as your twin?
Why do you appear so black when your sister is light-skinned?
We would have been so sure the midwife switched you at birth if we hadn't been present to see you born. What level of ugliness is this? These were the harsh words Ifunanya grew up hearing from her neighbors. She would cry herself to sleep most nights only to be comforted by her father.
My daughter, you are a very beautiful girl with a unique skin color. You should know this. Don't let the words of the villagers get into you.
Her father, Mr. Oluchi, would tell Ifunanya whenever she cries, even though her father told her she was beautiful. Ifunanya couldn't help but feel otherwise. She developed a very low self-esteem and was too scared to go out. Ifunanya would always question Mrs. Oluchi, her mother, what she did wrong in being dark and skinny. Aren't skinny and dark-skinned people accepted in this society? It's not like I created myself. Why is the world so mean to me? Why is my twin so lucky and I am unlucky? Ifunanya would weep uncontrollably every night. One night, Mr. Oluchi got attacked with a serious illness that led to death immediately. The Oluchis cried and mourned the death of their father and husband.
Why did he have to leave us? God, why?
Mrs. Oluchi cried. The girls mourned the death of their father for weeks. Ifunanya was hurt the most because the only person who loved her in the whole of Lafenwa village was no more. How was she going to survive? What will happen to her now that the person who offers her solace and hope is no longer in her life?
Why did he have to leave me? He was my only comforter. How would I survive in a time like this?
Ifunanya questioned. Her mother has always favored Ifeoma because she was the pretty one and was loved by everyone. Ifunanya would cry herself to sleep every night, looking forward to when death would snatch her away from this cruel world, just like it did her father. Many years passed, and the girls were approaching the traditional age of marriage. But wait, who established the rule that a woman must marry by the age of 25 or before, and that anything beyond 25 is considered late? Anyway, Ifeoma had no trouble finding a suitor because she was the epitome of beauty. On the other hand, Ifunanya struggled to attract suitors due to her skinny and unattractive appearance. On one fateful day, the new town crier, Mr. Gabson, announced that a prince from the neighborhood would be visiting the town to find a bride. The singles in the town were summoned to get themselves ready for the D-Day. They were all excited except for Ifunanya, of course. She knew there was no way she would be getting engaged to someone, talk more of a prince. The D-Day arrived with all the single ladies presented in front of the Prince of Ogboma town. Upon sight, Prince Twislav fell in love with Ifeoma amongst others. Of course, she was very beautiful and had an attractive skin color. But the prince had to follow the laid down protocol and traditions in choosing a wife for himself. The ladies of Lafenwa were given different tasks to test their character, wisdom, and ability. The test lasted for 5 days. On the 6th day, they were graded and Ifeoma was crowned the princess because she was beautiful with brains. Ifunanya was happy and supportive of her sister, but Ifeoma on the other hand resented and mocked her sister alongside the villagers. So they asked beautiful single ladies in the town to come out. You also came out. Have you seen yourself in the mirror? Ifeoma mocked the sister. Ifunanya has never felt as heartbroken as she was that night. She was fine with the villagers mocking her and calling her names. She was fine with the woman who carried her for 9 months resenting her. But the one she shared a womb with for 9 months, whom she did everything with, and was 5 minutes older, mocked her for her inadequacies. That was unfair. Life was so unfair to Ifunanya. She couldn't take it anymore and she left the town for anywhere else but there that night. Wandering around the bush in the cruel harsh weather condition, she sought comfort in a wooden shed that was kilometers away from her village, Lafenwa. Ifunanya was very tired and sad. What is that smell I am hearing, and why do I feel so wet? Ifunanya said in a sleepy voice. It was morning. She woke up to the smell of bushmeat which left her salivating. She was hungry and hadn't eaten anything since she ran away from her village. Finally, you are awake. A deep voice spoke. Who are you? Sorry, I mean, what am I doing here? Ifunanya questioned with uncertainty in her voice. I should be the one asking you what you are doing in my humble abode. I am Zaki, by the way, he said with a stretched hand towards Ifunanya, helping her from the floor she slept. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude on your privacy. I left my town. She narrated her experience to Zaki. Zaki smiled and laughed out loud after she was done explaining. Are you mocking me? She inquired. No, why would I do that? I'm laughing at your sister and villagers' blindness to your beauty and their stupidity, he said. It felt like a new life came into Ifunanya. No one has ever called her beautiful except her father, who is unfortunately no longer alive. She couldn't get Zaki's words out of her heart. Beauty. I'm beautiful. I haven't heard that word since my father's death. Someone finally sees that. She was screaming within her. Beauty? Did you say beauty? Me? Beauty? She stuttered.
Yes, you. Your name again?
Ifunaya, but you can call me Naya, she replied.
Yeah, you, Naya, are beautiful.
This made Ifunaya blush all the more. Her cheeks were red as a result of this. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, as Ifunaya continued her stay in an unknown village, helping out with duties and livelihood. She felt like a whole different person. The Ifunaya that was too scared to go out while at Lafenwa village goes out confidently in this strange village. Everyone was kind to her. Everyone loved her. It was a fresh breath of her. Zaki played a huge role in her life by helping her boost her confidence level. 3 years later, Ifunaya went back to her village and everyone was surprised to see her. No one knew her whereabouts. They thought a wolf had eaten her or something bad had happened to her. Ifunaya didn't go back to the village alone, but went with a man, a suitor. Mama, this is Balam, my fiancé. He's from Inkwere town, and he has come to ask for my hands in marriage, Mama.
Isn't that the young king of Ikwere town? How did she get herself a king?
Do you think she must have charmed him?
She looks different. She looks so beautiful, but
she's still skinny,
but she's elegant.
The villagers murmured amongst themselves.
You look good, my daughter. Welcome back. I thought you were dead. You didn't even visit for once. You didn't attend Ifeoma's wedding. I thought you were dead.
Her mother cried.
I'm so sorry for not loving you as much as I did your twin. I'm sorry for not defending you when the neighbors rained insults on you. I'm sorry you had to do this all by yourself. Please find a place in your heart to forgive your mother.
Mrs. Oluchi cried even more.
Mama, I've forgiven you long back. Indeed, I was deeply hurt, but I'm glad I chose this path. I'm glad I met Zaki, my brother-in-law, who gave me a new life, who made me believe in myself, and also got me the best gift in life, Balam. I was able to accept myself because of Zaki's help, Mama. I forgive Ufoma, and I hope she is happy with her new family right now. I forgive the villagers because I now love myself and choose myself every time. I don't have space for hatred in my heart, Mama.
Ifunaya cried. Ifunaya hugged her mother while they both wept. Many days passed in the village of Lafenwa. Wedding preparations were going up and down in Lafenwa village. The wedding date was set. After 3 months of preparation, Ifunaya got married to Balam and was crowned the queen of Inkwere town. She lived happily ever after with Balam, her husband, and Zaki, her brother-in-law. The end? What lessons did you learn from this story? Kindly leave your comments in the comment section below. Hey guys, if you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much. Please support my channel by clicking on the subscribe button and turning on your notifications so you get notified whenever I post. Thank you so much, and also share, like, share, comment.
In the vast expanse of the world, where the land met the sea and the sky kissed the horizon, there lived a wealthy, greedy, and vicious serpent king named King George. With a cunning mind and a ruthless army of serpents at his command, King George conquered countless animal kingdoms, plundering their wealth and resources to fuel his insatiable greed. From the depths of the oceans to the highest peaks, no kingdom was safe from King George's grasp. He raised his banner of conquest high, subjugating the creatures of the air, land, and sea under his rule. His two sons, Prince Conway and Prince Vino, led his armies with ruthless efficiency, expanding his dominion across continents. But amidst his conquests, King George's gaze fell upon the nations of the children of men. These prosperous lands, ruled by the descendants of Ghana, Ogunda, and Utunri, stood as beacons of harmony and unity. The children of men coexisted in love and shared cultures, their wealth and resources sought after throughout the world. Enraged by their prosperity and fearing their potential to challenge his empire, King George devised a nefarious plot. He would launch a diplomatic war against the United Nations of the children of men, sowing seeds of discord and mistrust among them. With his daughter, Princess Octavia, as his pawn, King George sought to infiltrate the inner circles of the children of men's kingdoms. He offered her hand in marriage to Prince Hassau of Ghana, hoping to create divisions within the alliance and weaken their defenses. As Princess Octavia arrived at the palace of King Hatu, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Prince Hassau welcomed her with open arms, but his first wife, Princess Ajoke, harbored jealousy and suspicion. Meanwhile, King Badega of Ogunda frowned upon the union, wary of King George's ulterior motives. Unbeknownst to King George, a clever tortoise named Umber had uncovered his plot. With knowledge gained from years of experience and wit, Umber saw an opportunity to turn the tide against the Serpent King. Umber journeyed to the Serpentine Kingdom, offering his services to King George in exchange for wealth and power. Recognizing Umber's cunning, King George agreed to his terms, unaware of the tortoise's true intentions. The Serpent King, intrigued by Umber's proposition, leaned forward on his throne, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of curiosity and greed. "What concessions do you seek, Umbi?" he hissed, his voice dripping with a sinister undertone. Umber, maintaining his composure, responded with a sly grin playing on his lips. "Your Majesty," he began, "I seek 3 things in return for my assistance in unraveling this delicate web of deceit and betrayal." "Name your demands, Umbe," King George urged, his forked tongue flicking out between his sharp teeth. "Firstly," Umbe declared, "I require a substantial sum of wealth from your vast treasures, enough to ensure my comfort and security for the rest of my days." The Serpent King nodded thoughtfully. "Agreed," he hissed. "You shall have your wealth." "Secondly," Umber continued, "I demand a position of power and influence within your empire. I wish to be appointed as your chief advisor on matters concerning the conquered kingdoms and any future conquests." King George eyed Umbe with a mixture of suspicion and intrigue. "You seek to be my right-hand advisor," he mused. "Very well. If you prove your worth, the position shall be yours." Umber nodded in satisfaction. "Lastly," he said, "I request immunity for myself and my descendants. I wish to be granted protection from any retribution or punishment for my actions in aiding you." The Serpent King's eyes narrowed as he considered Umber's final demand. After a moment of silence, he spoke. You drive a hard bargain, Umbe, but I agree to your terms. Immunity shall be granted to you and your descendants, provided you fulfill your end of the bargain." Umbe bowed low before the Serpent King, a triumphant smirk on his face. "It is settled then, Your Majesty," he said. "With your resources at my disposal and my cunning intellect, we shall bring the nations of the children of men to their knees." And so, with their pact sealed, Umbe and the Serpent King set their plans into motion. Umbe used his influence and expertise to sow discord among the United Nations of the Children of Men, exploiting the tensions between the kingdoms and stoking the flames of distrust and suspicion. Meanwhile, Princess Octavia struggled with her conflicting loyalties, torn between her duty to her father and her growing affection for Prince Hassau. As tensions escalated and the threat of war loomed on the horizon, Umbe played his part masterfully, manipulating events from the shadows to further the Serpent King's ambitions. In the end, the unity of the United Nations of the Children of Men was shattered, and the kingdoms fell into chaos and turmoil. With their defenses weakened and their alliances fractured, they stood vulnerable before the might of the Serpent King's army. But little did the Serpent King know, Umbe had his own agenda, and his loyalty to the Serpent King was only temporary. As the kingdoms teetered on the brink of destruction, Umbe seized his opportunity to betray his former ally, turning the tide of the war in favor of the Children of Men. With Umbe's guidance, King George's plot was set into motion. But as tensions escalated and alliances faltered, Umbe revealed his betrayal. Turning the Serpent King's own armies against him, Umbe joined forces with the nations of the Children of Men to resist King George's tyranny. In a climactic battle, the armies of the Children of Men faced off against King George's forces. With unity and determination, they emerged victorious, driving the Serpent King and his sons back to their kingdom in defeat. Peace once again reigned over the lands, and the nations of the Children of Men stood stronger than ever. Umbe, hailed as a hero for his bravery and cunning, returned to his kingdom, his back still cracked, but his spirit unbroken. And as the sun set on the horizon, casting golden hues across the sky, the Children of Men celebrated their victory, knowing that together they could overcome any foe, no matter how wealthy, greedy, or vicious.
As the sisters grew, so too did the seeds of envy within Mika's heart, like weeds entwining around the blossoming flowers of their bond. While Rika's tree flourished, bearing fruits capable of healing any ailment or disease, Mika's envy grew with each passing day. Despite Rika's attempts to share her wealth, offering Mika half of her newfound riches, Mika's greed knew no bounds. She coveted everything or nothing, refusing Rika's olive branches of peace. Some time ago, in an African village, there lived two sisters, Rika and her evil twin called Mika. Their parents, long gone, left them under the care of their wise grandmother, a good witch, and a beacon of wisdom and kindness in the community. Their grandmother gave Rika an enchanted seed and a necklace made of white beads. The necklace was a choker the size of a baby's neck. Because the necklace was enchanted, it grew along with the wearer but can only go over the head of a baby. Also, anyone who wore the necklace would be free from all forms of evil and would be blessed with long life. Their grandmother gave Mika an enchanted local clay pot. The clay pot protected and prospered anything that it surrounded. One day, Rika decided to plant the enchanted seed given to her by her grandmother. She requested for Mika's enchanted clay pot. She planted the seed and watered it. In a few days, the tree was fully grown and had fruits. The fruits ripened quickly and could cure any type of ailment or disease anyone suffered from. No one else had such a tree. The villagers and everyone from far and near came to buy from Rika. It was a very flourishing business. Rika became very wealthy. She built very nice huts, bought horses, clothes and jewelries. Mika had always been jealous of Rika, but it came to a head as Rika's tree was very fruitful throughout all seasons and she made a lot of money. Rika offered Mika half of her wealth, but she refused because of her greed. Mika wanted it all or nothing for either of them. One fateful day, not that she needed the clay pot, Mika demanded for her clay pot back. For several days, Rika begged Mika that she would give something else in exchange, because the only way for Mika to get the clay pot back was if they cut the tree down. Mika refused all the pleas and insisted on getting her pot back. In the end, Rika called the tree cutter and her tree was cut down. Not long after the tree was cut and Mika got her clay pot back, Mika got married and gave birth to a baby girl. When the consultations were made, the priest informed Mika and her husband to do everything possible to prevent all evil eyes on the child, otherwise, the child would die young. Mika then went to visit her sister Rika and requested for the enchanted necklace. They then put the necklace on Mika's daughter Kiki. Kiki grew up to be a very beautiful young woman. Soon, they started the preparations for her marriage. It was during this time that Rika said to herself, "My time for revenge has finally come." She paid Mika a visit and asked for her necklace back. By that time, the necklace could only be taken off if Mika's daughter's head was cut off first. It was Mika's turn to beg. She too, for several days, begged Rika, but Rika refused to listen. She insisted on getting her necklace back. She took Rika to the king and in the end the judgment was in favor of Rika. As a result, Mika's daughter's head was cut off by the king's executioner. There was a lot of cries and wailings from Mika's heart. She blamed herself and felt very sorry for being envious and for insisting on getting her clay pot back. Unknown to everyone, though Rika's enchanted tree that was making so much money got cut, Rika, with the help of her grandmother and the king, only pretended to kill Kiki by swapping the body with a lifelike dummy that looked like Kiki and conjured by their grandmother. As a result, Kiki was not killed but went back to her parents. Their grandmother and the king were so impressed by Rika's act of kindness. Their grandmother too had prevented Rika's enchanted tree from being cut down at that time. Only a lookalike tree conjured by the grandmother was cut, not Rika's actual tree. The king gave Rika a lot of gold. She held a bar to her ear to be sure she wasn't dreaming. She shared her gold with Mika and her grandmother. Their grandmother was trying to teach them to always be kind and not be envious or vengeful. They all lived in harmony and happiness after the lessons learnt. Moral of the story: jealousy and greed can lead to betrayal and destruction, but forgiveness and empathy have the power to heal even the deepest wounds. Let us choose kindness and understanding over vengeance and resentment, for in the end, love and compassion prevail. Also, we should not repay evil with evil. If we keep repaying evil with evil, evil will never stop. Join us in spreading compassion and forgiveness in your own communities. Share this story to inspire others to choose empathy over envy and to embrace the transformative power of forgiveness. Together, let's build a world where love and understanding triumph over hatred and discord. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more inspiring stories. Remember, every story has the power to teach and heal. See you in the next video.
In a quaint African village embraced by lush landscapes, there lived a young girl named Adisa. Her early childhood was a tapestry of laughter and joy as she played with the other children from the village. At the tender age of 5, her days were filled with innocent games near the crackling campfire, the sun painting the sky with hues of gold. Adisa, even as a child, was astonishingly beautiful. Her radiant smile could light up the darkest corners of the village, and her sparkling eyes reflected the purity of a soul untouched by the world. However, fate had a different plan for her. On one fateful day, while playing near the campfire, the joyous scene turned into a moment that would shape Adisa's life forever. The children gathered around the dancing flames, their faces illuminated by the firelight. Adisa, fueled by the boundless energy of youth, joined the group, her eyes reflecting the sheer joy of childhood. As the children engaged in a lively game of tag near the flickering campfire, the village echoed with their laughter. In the midst of the game, Adisa, darting between her friends, stumbled over a small hidden rock. Unable to regain her balance, she found herself teetering on the edge of the campfire. The searing flames leaped towards her unsuspecting form, and with a helpless cry, she tumbled into the fire. The village fell silent as shock and fear gripped the onlookers. Adisa's parents, drawn by the collective gasp, rushed to the scene. With urgency fueled by parental instinct, they pulled their precious daughter from the flames, but the damage had been done. Adisa, marked by the scars that adorned her face, bore the physical remnants of that pivotal moment in her childhood. As Adisa matured, her radiant inner beauty clashed with the judgmental eyes of the villagers who couldn't see beyond the scars. Despite her numerous attempts to find love, each endeavor ended in heartbreak. The young men, blinded by societal expectations, turned away from Adisa, unable to recognize the kindness in her eyes or the warmth in her heart. One sunny afternoon, she approached a young man from the village square, her heart pounding with hope. With sincerity in her eyes, she poured her feelings into words, hoping that he would recognize the kindness and warmth that defined her. The young man, however, hesitated, glancing nervously at Adisa's scars before politely declining. Undeterred, Adisa smiled gracefully, concealing the sting of rejection. Her spirit unbroken, she continued her search, determined to find someone who could look beyond the surface. Another time, during a village celebration, Adisa spotted a group of young men sharing laughter by the bonfire. Summoning courage, she approached them, joining in the merriment. As the night wore on, she shared stories, laughter, and dreams, hoping that one of them would see her for who she truly was. Yet as the embers flickered and the night grew darker, the young men dispersed, leaving Adisa standing alone in the fading warmth of the fire. Despite these setbacks, Adisa's unwavering spirit endured. Her parents, moved by love and concern, arranged a marriage for her with an older man known for his wisdom and kindness. Adisa, respecting her parents' wishes, entered into the union with hope that time might reveal the true beauty of her heart to her husband. The wedding day arrived, and the villagers observed in hushed silence as Adisa, veiled in humility, exchanged vows with her husband. Whispers of judgment lingered, but Adisa paid them no mind, choosing a path of acceptance and resilience. Her marriage, against the odds, blossomed into a haven of love, and Adisa became a source of strength for her family. As the years passed, Adisa gave birth to 2 children, a son and a daughter. The children inherited their mother's inner and outer beauty, possessing hearts and smiles as pure as crystal springs. The daughter, in particular, grew into a woman of extraordinary grace and charm. Her beauty, reminiscent of Adisa's own before the campfire incident, began to shine with each passing day. Her features, untouched by the scars that had marked her mother's face, blossomed into a captivating elegance that enchanted the entire village. Yet, despite her external allure, the daughter remained humble and kind, inheriting the essence of her mother's resilient spirit. Fate, however, had a different plan for the daughter. One day, while attending a grand celebration in the village, she caught the eye of the prince of the kingdom. The prince, renowned for his discerning nature, recognized true beauty within Adisa's daughter Mesmerized by her kindness and inner radiance, he sought her company, sparking a connection that surpassed societal norms. Their meeting was nothing short of magical. The prince, captivated by her beauty both inside and out, engaged her in conversations that ranged from the profound to the light-hearted. Adisa's daughter, initially hesitant, found herself drawn to the prince's genuine interest in her thoughts and dreams. As the night unfolded, they danced under the moonlit sky, their laughter echoing through the village square. In a quiet moment, the prince, gazing into her eyes, confessed the profound impact she had on him. He spoke of her resilience, beauty, and the kindness that radiated from within. The daughter, moved by his sincerity, felt an intense connection. The prince, recognizing the extraordinary woman before him, took her hand and asked her to be his bride. Their love story, marked by acceptance and understanding, became a beacon of hope for the entire village. The wedding, a celebration of love and unity, merged the traditions of the kingdom with the vibrant spirit of the African village. The bride, adorned in a dress that reflected the colors of the sunset, walked down the aisle, escorted by her proud mother, Adisa. As they exchanged vows, the prince spoke eloquently about the beauty that goes beyond the surface, emphasizing the importance of recognizing the worth within each individual. The ceremony, a testament to love's transformative power, resonated through the hills and valleys, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who witnessed it. As their love story unfolded, Adisa's family found themselves elevated to a position of prominence and prosperity. The daughter's marriage to the prince brought newfound joy, dispelling the judgments that had plagued Adisa's life. Adisa's journey, from the scars of her past to the joy of her daughter's union, became a powerful testament to the importance of looking beyond appearances and embracing the inherent worth of every individual. The scars on her face, once a symbol of rejection, now symbolized a legacy of love, resilience, and acceptance that resonated through the entire kingdom, leaving an enduring lesson for generations to come. Till next time, bye.
However, life in the village took an unexpected turn when one day Kia became unwell. The village herbalist attended to her and informed her parents that Kia was pregnant. Her parents asked who was responsible for the pregnancy, but Kia refused to say. In the heart of an African village, where beauty danced with the rhythm of tradition, a blind maiden named Kia became the canvas upon which a tale of love, resilience, and societal judgment unfolded. Little did the villagers know that within the shadows of Kia's perceived limitation, a story of unexpected beauty and courage was about to be revealed. Kia was born blind. As soon as her parents realized, they tried their best by visiting different herbalists for help, but she never regained her sight. Despite her blindness from birth, Kia's beauty radiated like a rare blossom in the village. Her heart, filled with kindness and warmth, made her a beloved soul among the villagers. Unlike the other children who chased butterflies and climbed mango trees, Kia lived in a world of perpetual twilight. Born blind, her eyes held no reflection of the vibrant world around her. Kia's blindness wasn't a barrier, but a bridge. She navigated the village not with sight, but with sound. Sometimes she wears a scarf as a blindfold over her eyes. According to her, the blindfold helped whenever her eyes hurt. As Kia blossomed into a remarkable young lady, her enchanting grace stirred the hearts of all who encountered her. However, a group of young men succumbed to their own insecurities and cruelly teased Kia about her blindness wherever and whenever they saw her, finding amusement in mimicking her every move. One day, Kofi the ringleader said to himself, "Come to think of it, I've never slept with a blind lady before, I must do something about it." At that time, he was yet to realize that he had fallen for Kia. From then on, He started talking to his friends to put an end to the heartless teasing, determined to shield Kia from their cruelty. Slowly but surely, the once boisterous group began to disband, leaving Kia to bask in the newfound peace that Kofi's efforts had brought to her life. As Kia sat under the shade of a sprawling baobab tree, Kofi approached her. There was a mix of nervousness and determination in his eyes. The air crackled with tension, but Kia sensed something different about him. "Kia," Kofi began, his voice filled with a mix of regret and sincerity. "I need to apologize for my past actions. I never should have participated in the mockery of your blindness. It was wrong, and I am truly sorry." Kia replied, "Kofi, I don't hold any grudges against you or the others. I understand that fear and ignorance often lead people down hurtful paths. What matters now is how we move forward." Kofi nodded, relief washed over him. "You're right, Kia. We need to change, and I want to be a part of that change." Kia, touched by Kofi's sincerity, said, "I believe in redemption and growth, Kofi. And I see that within you." Kofi hesitated for a moment before finding the courage to express his growing affection for Kia. "Kia, as I defended you against my friends, I realized something profound. Your beauty goes beyond what meets the eye. It radiates from your spirit, your kindness, your resilience. I find myself drawn to you in ways I can't fully explain. I want to be your friend." Kofi had determination shining through his eyes. "Kia, I'm willing to face whatever challenges come our way because of our friendship." Kia replied, "Kofi, I want to be your friend too." As they remained together beneath the baobab tree, Kia, touched by Kofi's sudden confession, couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of hope. Kofi's transformation was not only about their friendship but also about challenging societal norms and fostering empathy within their village. However, life in the village took an unexpected turn when one day Kia became unwell. The village herbalist attended to her and informed her parents that Kia was pregnant. Her parents asked who was responsible for the pregnancy, but Kia refused to say. Whispers swept through the village. Amidst the gossip and judgment, Kia kept her silence. As the village held its breath, the truth eventually unfurled like the delicate petals of a flower. One day Kia's labor pains echoed through the huts. Kofi, torn between loyalty and love, rushed to her side. As the baby's cries pierced the air, so did the truth. Kofi was the father of Kia's child. The village gasped, judgment etched on their faces. Shadows danced around the fire, revealing secrets long buried. People kept saying, "We thought he was just being friendly." Unknown to everyone, Kofi had been dating Kia and he had been taking her to his home regularly in secret. The revelation sent ripples through the village, challenging the perception of beauty, love, and acceptance. Kia's blindness had never defined her, and Kofi's love for her transcended the limitations others had placed on her. In the end, Kia and Kofi got married, surrounded by the newfound understanding and acceptance of the village. Kofi's love for Kia proved that beauty lay not just in appearances but in the depth of one's character and the kindness within one's heart. The moral of the story is a timeless lesson. Beauty is not confined to physical appearances, and love has the power to overcome prejudice and societal norms. It encourages us to look beyond the surface, embrace diversity, and recognize the beauty that exists within every soul. True beauty lies in the strength of one's character. Preconceived notions and physical appearances should never define a person's worth. Respect, empathy, and resilience triumph over prejudice and adversity. There is strength within all of us that defies the limitations others may place upon us. When we recognize this strength, when we embrace our differences and celebrate our unique journeys, true beauty flourishes. In shadows lie both cruelty and compassion. Our choices illuminate the path we tread. Let all of us reflect on the importance of love, kindness, empathy, and growth. Share your thoughts in the comments about how you've overcome challenges in prejudice and societal norms, or what lessons you've learned. Subscribe for more inspiring stories of resilience, love, and self-discovery. Remember, every story has the power to teach and heal. Thanks for watching. Join us on this journey of exploration, understanding, and healing. Hit the like button, share, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. Until next time, stay resilient, stay inspired.
In the Verdun of Africa, there lived a young boy named Chike. His village, a harmonious blend of huts and nature, lay at the edge of a vast savanna, where the golden grass whispered secrets of the ancient land. Chike was entrusted with the care of the village's most prized possession, the Watusi cattle, a breed renowned for their majestic horns and the wealth they bestowed upon their keepers. Chike, with a spirit as wild as the wind and a heart yearning for adventure beyond the horizon, found the daily routine of tending to the cattle boring. His soul ached for excitement, for tales to tell that would etch his name in the annals of his people's history. It was this desire that led him down a path woven with mischief and woven with the threads of consequence. To satiate his thirst for amusement, Chike concocted a plan that would send ripples through the fabric of his life and the community that had nurtured him. He decided to test the bonds of trust and camaraderie that held his village together with the spirit of the lion, the king of the savannah, whose roar alone could silence the chorus of the wilderness. One day, under the blazing African sun, Chike ran into the village, his voice laced with fiend terror, shouting, "Lion! Lion! A lion is attacking the Watusi cattle!" The villagers, gripped by a collective fear for their prized cattle and driven by the instinct to protect, armed themselves with spears and shields, rushing out to confront the beast. But upon arriving at the grazing fields, they were met with a sight of tranquility. The cattle grazed peacefully, unthreatened, under the watchful eyes of the silent trees. Chike, unable to hold back his laughter, revealed his ruse. The villagers, their faces painted with relief and annoyance, scolded Chike for his deceit, warning him of the perils such falsehoods could invite. Undeterred, Chike repeated his deception in the following weeks, each instance crafting a deeper fissure in the trust the villagers had in him. With every false alarm, the fabric of their community frayed, threads of belief and reliance unwinding until they lay bare, vulnerable to the truths of the world beyond their village. The inevitable came to pass on a day when the sky was painted with the hues of an impending storm. A day when destiny would heed the call of Chike's actions. A lone lion, its mane a crown of the savannah, its eyes reflecting the untamed wilderness, prowled closer to the village, driven by hunger and the primal instinct to hunt. Chike, stationed at the outskirts with the Watusi cattle, spotted the predator. His heart, once filled with mischief, now pounded with genuine fear. He understood the gravity of the danger, a realization that came crashing down like the thunder that rumbled in the distance. Racing back to the village, Chike's cries of alarm once again pierced the air. "Lion! The lion is upon us! It seeks the cattle!" But his warnings, tainted by the shadow of his past deceits, fell on deaf ears. The villagers, hardened by betrayal, dismissed his pleas as another jest. Meanwhile, the lion, embodying the very essence of the savannah's ruthless beauty, launched his attack. The Watusi cattle, despite their majestic appearance, were no match for the king of beasts. The savannah bore witness to a grim ballet, a dance of predator and prey, orchestrated by the laws of nature and the folly of a boy. By the time Chike returned, the aftermath of the lion's feast lay before him. The loss was catastrophic, a blow to the heart of the village that would be felt for generations. The boy, once full of laughter and dreams, now stood as a figure of sorrow, his spirit broken by the weight of his actions. The villagers, confronted with reality of Chike's final warning, could no longer contain their grief and rage. The elders convened beneath the ancient baobab. They deliberated not just on Chike's fate, but on the fabric of trust that binds a community. Their decision was somber yet resolute. Chike was to be banished for a decade, a sentence that spoke of the gravity of his deceit. As Chike ventured into the expanse of the savannah, the reality of his banishment enveloped him like the dusk. Each step away from the village was a heavy reminder of his trust he had shattered. A trust so fundamental, yet so fragile. The savannah, with its untamed beauty and relentless challenges, became his silent companion, reflecting back to him the consequences of his actions. Years unfurled under the vast African sky, each day a lesson in survival and solitude. Chike, once the boy who sought to weave excitement into his life through fabrications, now longed for nothing more than the simple truths he had forsaken. The savannah taught him much about the natural order of life, where every creature's survival hinged not on deceit, but on the stark realities of existence. Chike never made the journey back. The savannah, with its harsh lessons and rugged beauty, had become his home, a place where he found a semblance of peace amidst the echoes of his past. The village moved forward with time, the memory of Chike fading like the footprints in the sand, but the lesson of his tale grew roots deeper than the ancient baobab. The moral of Chike's story, whispered on the wind and etched in the heart of the savannah, became a stark warning of the tragedies born from lies. It taught that deceit, no matter its guise or intention, is a beast more formidable than the lion that prowls the savannah. Lies, once set into motion, traverse a path of destruction that can sever the soul from its loved ones, leaving a chasm too vast to bridge. In his absence, Chike became a cautionary tale, a shadowy figure in the village's collective memory that served as a reminder of the fragile nature of trust and the irrevocable damage wrought by falsehood. His story, passed down through generations, became a moral compass for the village, guiding them towards a future where honesty formed the cornerstone of their existence. If you don't want to miss the most exciting African folktales, make sure to subscribe. Till next time.
In the heart of the vast African wilderness, tribal warrior Lutalo, renowned for his indomitable spirit, faced the Forbidden Falls, guarded by the elusive Mamiwata spirit. Legends spoke of its treacherous beauty, but Lutalo's insatiable curiosity and the tales of untold wonders lured him to explore the mystical waters. Lutalo's fascination with the Forbidden Falls traced back to his childhood. As a young boy, he sat wide-eyed beside the village elders as they shared stories of the enchanting realm beyond the falls. The elders spoke of mystical creatures, ancient spirits, and a magical dance of the waters that captivated the heart and soul. Growing up, Lutalo found himself drawn to these tales, fueled by a deep curiosity to uncover the mysteries of the Forbidden Falls. His dreams were painted with visions of ethereal beauty and unimaginable power, enticing him to embark on a journey that others deemed perilous. One moonlit night, the elders' stories echoed in Lutalo's mind as he stood at the edge of the Forbidden Falls. The air was thick with anticipation, and the moonlight illuminated the cascading waters, creating an ethereal glow. Lutalo, now a seasoned warrior, felt a call from the falls. an invitation to explore the uncharted realms beyond. Against the warnings of the elders and the skepticism of his fellow villagers, Lutalo decided to venture into the heart of the Forbidden Falls. His heart pounded with a mix of excitement and dread as he stepped into the swirling mist, guided by the age-old tales and a desire to unravel the secrets hidden within the enchanting waters. As Lutalo delved deeper into the Forbidden Falls, the atmosphere shifted and a sense of wonder surrounded him. The air crackled with a mystical energy, and the roar of the falls became a melodic symphony. The moonlight painted the surroundings with an otherworldly glow, casting shadows that seemed to dance to an unseen rhythm. Amidst the captivating beauty, Lutalo encountered challenges that tested his mettle. Mystical creatures, guardians of the falls, confronted him, their forms a manifestation of the ancient spirits that dwelled within. Undeterred, Lutalo faced each trial with the courage and strength that had earned him renown among his people. The first challenge manifested as a labyrinth of illusions, where reality seemed to shift with every step. Whispers of the spirits echoed through the air, guiding or misleading him. The path ahead constantly changed, mirages dancing at the periphery of his vision. Lutalo's instincts and keen perception became his allies, allowing him to navigate the maze of illusions with determination and resolve. The second challenge presented itself as a turbulent river that surged with an otherworldly force. The water, infused with the energy of the Forbidden Falls, formed into powerful currents that seemed determined to pull Lutalo into the abyss. Undaunted, he crafted a makeshift raft from the surrounding vegetation, skillfully navigating the treacherous waters with a combination of strength and strategic finesse. Finally, as the moon reached its zenith, Lutalo stood at the heart of the Forbidden Falls, where the waters converged into a pool of ethereal luminescence. It was there that Mamiwata emerged, a vision of beauty and power. Her enchanting presence held a promise of unimaginable secrets, and Lutalo, captivated by the allure of the moment, stepped into the waters. The initial encounter with Mamiwata was like a trance, the melody of the falls entwining with the spirit's song. In that fleeting moment, the boundary between the earthly and the mystical blurred, and Lutalo found himself on the precipice of a choice that would shape his destiny. "Brave warrior," she sang, "come with me, and I shall bestow upon you power beyond your wildest dreams." The rhythmic melody intertwined with Mamiwata's words, forming an enchanting spell. Yet, as the enchantment tightened its grip, Lutalo's sense of duty surged within him. He recalled the tales of his childhood, the lessons learned from the elders, and the strength forged through a lifetime of challenges. With a surge of willpower, he broke free from the enchanting dance, determined to return to his people. Mamiwata, enraged by Lutalo's resistance, unleashed her full power. The atmosphere crackled with energy as the spirit transformed into a colossal serpent, scales as dark as the abyss. The Forbidden Falls roared in response, and the very elements seemed to rally to Mamiwata's call. The battlefield transformed into a surreal tableau, with lightning splitting the sky and thunder reverberating through the air. Lutalo, now faced with the embodiment of the fall's mystical power, prepared for a battle that transcended the physical realm. Mamiwata's serpent form coiled and struck with a ferocity that mirrored the raging waters of the falls. Lutalo, agile and resilient, evaded the attacks with a dance of his own. Each movement became a testament to his warrior prowess, a choreography of skill and instinct. The fight intensified as Lutalo, armed only with a spear carved from the heart of the Forbidden Falls, countered Mamiwata's serpentine onslaught. The clash of their forces echoed through the mystical realm, a symphony of power and resistance. As the battle reached its zenith, Mami Wata unleashed a torrential downpour, attempting to drown Lutalo in the very essence of the falls. Undeterred, the warrior summoned the strength of his people, pushing against the currents with a determination that surpassed the spirit's watery onslaught. In a final surge of power, Lutalo unleashed a primal roar, channeling the energy of the forbidden falls into his spear. With a precise strike, he pierced Mami Wata's serpentine form, sending ripples of energy through the mystical realm. The spirit, defeated and weakened, retreated into the depths of the forbidden falls. Lutalo, battered but triumphant, emerged from the battle as a living legend. The tales of his epic confrontation with Mami Wata echoed through the generations, a story of resilience, bravery, and the triumph of the human spirit over enchanting temptations. The moral of the story resonates deeply. The pursuit of curiosity and the exploration of the unknown can lead to challenges and temptations. Lutalo's journey through the Forbidden Falls teaches us that even in the face of enchanting allure, the strength to resist lies in one's convictions and the lessons learned along life's journey. Temptations may surround us, but with inner strength and unwavering determination, we can navigate the mysteries of life and return to the safety of our own shores. Till next time, bye. And in that moment, she knew that she had found her salvation, the one person who, in the heart of a vibrant African village, there lived a young woman named Adana. Adana was the epitome of grace and beauty, with eyes that sparkled like the stars and a smile that could light up the darkest night. But beneath her radiant exterior lay a deep and sorrowful secret, a curse that had plagued her since birth. You see, Adana was not like other girls. Every night, as the moon rose high in the sky, she would undergo a startling transformation. Her legs would merge into a sleek, shimmering tail, and she would become a creature of the sea, a mermaid bound by an ancient curse. For years, Adana had kept her curse hidden from the world, sneaking out under the cover of darkness to swim beneath the waves. But as she grew older, the burden of her secret became increasingly heavy, weighing on her heart like an anchor, dragging her down into the depths. It was said that the curse had been placed upon Adana's family generations ago, a punishment for a past sin long forgotten. And though Adana knew not the true origins of her curse, she bore its weight with stoic resignation, resigned to a fate of endless nights spent alone in the cold embrace of the sea. But fate, it seemed, had other plans in store for Adana. For one fateful night, as she swam through the moonlit waters, she chanced upon a young man named Kofi, a handsome fisherman with eyes as deep and mysterious as the ocean itself. Kofi had been out on his boat, casting his nets into the sea, when he spotted Adana's shimmering form gliding gracefully through the water. At first, he could scarcely believe his eyes, for he had heard tales of mermaids, but never dreamed he would encounter one himself. As Adana drew closer, Kofi's heart quickened with a mixture of awe and curiosity. He called out to her, his voice tinged with wonder, and to his surprise, Adana turned towards him with a smile that seemed to light up the entire ocean. Their conversation started tentatively at first, with Kofi asking Adana about her life beneath the waves, and Adana, in turn, expressing her fascination with the world above. They spoke of their hopes and dreams, their fears and uncertainties, and with each passing moment, they felt their connection deepening like the currents of the ocean itself. As the days turned into weeks, Adana and Kofi's bond grew stronger, their hearts entwined like the tangled seaweed that lined the ocean floor. And though Adana knew that revealing her true nature to Kofi could mean risking everything, she couldn't help but be drawn to him like a sailor to the North Star. One stormy night, as Adana found herself exploring the depths of the ocean, she was caught off guard by a sudden change in the weather. The tranquil waters she had come to know so well transformed into a swirling maelstrom of wind and waves threatening to swallow her whole. Desperate to escape the fury of the storm, Adana swam with all her might, her heart pounding with fear as she fought against the powerful current that threatened to drag her down into the depths. But try as she might, she could not break free from its grasp, her strength waning with each passing moment. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, a light pierced through the darkness, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. It was Kofi, his boat slicing through the churning waves as he raced to her rescue. With a mighty leap, Kofi dove into the roiling waters, his arms outstretched to catch Adana as she was swept away by the raging tempest. He pulled her close, his heart pounding with relief as he held her tightly against him, his strength a lifeline in the midst of the storm. As they clung to each other amidst the chaos, Adana felt a warmth spreading through her, a feeling of unbelievable safety and security. And in that moment, she knew that she had found her salvation, the one person who could break the curse that had plagued her for so long. With tears in her eyes, Adana gazed up at Kofi to give him a tender kiss, her heart overflowing with love and gratitude. And as Adana and Kofi's lips met, a wave of magic surged between them, enveloping them in a shimmering glow that seemed to transcend time and space. In that moment of pure, unbridled love, the curse that had bound Adana to the sea began to unravel, its dark tendrils loosening their grip on her soul. With a soft gasp, Adana experienced a strange sensation, a tingling warmth spreading through her limbs as her mermaid form began to dissolve into mist. She clung to Kofi with all her strength, her heart racing with anticipation as she awaited the moment of her transformation. And then, as if by some divine intervention, Adana felt herself being pulled upwards towards the surface, her body bathed in the soft light of the moon. With one final burst of energy, she broke through the surface of the water, gasping for breath as she emerged into the cool night air. As Kofi gazed upon her in awe, his eyes wide with wonder, Adana felt a surge of emotion welling up inside her, a mixture of joy, relief, and overwhelming gratitude. She reached out to him, her fingers trembling with anticipation as she waited for his reaction. For a moment, there was silence, a pregnant pause, as Kofi took in the sight of Adana standing before him, her once tail now replaced by two slender legs that shimmered in the moonlight. And then, without a word, he reached out to her, his touch gentle and tender as he pulled her into his arms. As their embrace deepened, Adana experienced a feeling of completeness that she had never known before. And as they stood there, locked in each other's embrace, she knew that her love for Kofi was stronger than any curse, stronger even than the darkest depths of the ocean. With tears streaming down her cheeks, Adana whispered words of thanks to the heavens above, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the man who had saved her from a lifetime of loneliness and despair. And as they stood there, bathed in the light of the moon, they knew that their love would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. For in that magical moment of love and redemption, Adana and Kofi had broken the curse that had bound them, their bond stronger than ever before. And as they sailed back to shore together, hand in hand, they knew that their love would endure for all eternity. And so, dear friends, Adana's journey teaches us that true love is not just a force of passion, but also a source of strength and salvation. It reminds us that through love, we can overcome the most formidable challenges and find solace in the darkest of times. May her story inspire us to cherish the power of love and to hold on to it steadfastly, for it has the ability to illuminate even the most shadowed paths of our lives. If you don't want to miss exciting African folktales, make sure to subscribe. Till next time.
Once upon a time, in a small village called Ukam, there lived a king called Musa. He was a chronic womanizer who was infatuated with beautiful women, despite having 50 wives. King Musa's personality was known by all his subjects and the neighboring villages. So, everyone would always hide their daughters and wives whenever they heard King Musa was taking a stroll around the village. Because whenever King Musa lay eyes on any woman, he would forcefully marry her and recompense her family or husband handsomely. King Musa didn't care whether the woman was married or not. All he thought about was her beauty. Once he expressed interest in a woman, she had to either accept to be his wife or lose her life. One day, King Musa returned from a stroll around the village and discovered one of his many wives with a guard, making love inside his hut. This made him extremely angry and bitter. He arrested the guard and convened a general village meeting at the market square the following day. Everyone attended the gathering, except the women who were considered beautiful, out of fear of being forced into marriage by King Musa. When they had all gathered in the market square, King Musa arrived with the village's spiritualist and the guard he discovered with his wife. King Musa decapitated the guard in front of the entire community, as a warning to anyone who entertained the idea of sleeping with any of his wives. Then King Musa instructed the village spiritualist to cast a curse on the Ukam village. This curse required any woman married to a man from Ukam village to remain faithful till death. If a married woman cheated on her husband, she would transform into an animal. The men of the Ukam village were overjoyed about the new development. This meant that the king could no longer force a married woman to become his wife. After the curse was cast on Ukam village by the village spiritualists, the biggest amount of marriages was recorded in the days that followed. All the beautiful women hurriedly accepted any man who came for their hand in marriage, so as to avoid being forced to marry the king. And ever since the curse was invoked, no incidents of infidelity have been recorded in the Ukam village. 20 years later, the village had grown dramatically, and King Musa had passed away. They had a new king who genuinely cared about the villagers and was determined to bring growth to Ukam. The curse imposed by King Musa still existed, but the younger generations were unaware. In this new era, there lived a young, beautiful maiden by the name of Amaka. She was so beautiful and radiant that all the men in Ukam village wanted her as a bride. But she refused to accept any of them because she desired a wealthy man who could afford her most expensive jewelry and apparel. She had a childhood friend called Ada. Ada was equally attractive, but not as materialistic as Amaka. She would always advise Amaka to choose a man who was loving, caring, and compassionate. She implored Amaka that wealth is vanity and the personality is all that truly matters. Nevertheless, Amaka was stubborn, believing she was too beautiful to be the bride of an average man. One day, Amaka and Ada were on their way back from the stream when they met Emeka, a handsome and well-built man. He offered to help with their water pots, but Amaka bluntly refused. Ada, on the other hand, accepted his offer, and he assisted her with her pot of water. As they walked and talked, Ada learned that Emeka is a small-scale farmer with a small plot of land where he harvests crops. Ada admired Emeka's outspokenness and kindness, while Amaka disliked him because he was not wealthy. The following week, Amaka went to the market to purchase some items. There she met Chief Kanayo. Chief Kanayo noticed her and became interested. He approached her in the stall where she was. He promised her she could choose anything she wanted, and he would pay. Amaka chose a variety of jewelry, beads, and outfits. Chief Kanayo paid for them all and told Amaka that he loved her and wanted to marry her. Amaka quickly accepted without thinking because she knew he was wealthy. Amaka and Ada chose the same day for their marriage ceremony. Ameka wasn't very rich, so he bought what he could afford for his wedding to Ada, while Chief Kanayo prepared a feast for Amaka. Amaka's wedding was the buzz of the town since there was plenty of food and drink for everyone. This was exactly what Amaka desired, so she was overjoyed. Ada was contented with what Ameka could afford, since she cared more about his personality than his money. However, Amaka met the shock of her life when she accompanied Chief Kanayo home after the ceremony and discovered that he already had 5 wives. Each wife had her own hut, and Chief Kanayo would visit each one on a specific day of the week. Amaka became enraged and began to yell at Chief Kanayo for concealing the fact that he had multiple wives. Chief Kanayo gave her a harsh slap on the cheek and warned her to keep silent. He informed Amaka that he had spent a lot of money on her own dowry and wedding arrangements. Thus, she belonged to him. Chief Kanayo then had a hut built for Amaka, where she lived alongside his other wives. But Ada was happy with Ameka. Ameka was deeply caring, loving, and compassionate. He didn't have much, but he loved and cherished Ada very much. He tried everything he could to keep her happy all the time. A few weeks after Amaka married Chief Kanayo, the other wives started treating her like a slave. She was the youngest of them all. Therefore, they often sent her on errands. Amaka had everything she desired and could afford, but she was constantly sad and melancholy. She recalled what her friend Ada had said, but it was too late. Chief Kanayo rarely spent time with her. He only made love with her once or twice a month. She was constantly alone and bored. One fateful day, Amaka went to the stream to get some water when she came across Ifanye, a very gorgeous, cute, and muscular young hunter. She was on her way with a pot of water on her head when she noticed a snake slithering from the bush. In terror, she tossed the pot to the ground and shouted. Ifanye had just finished hunting when he heard her wailing. He promptly ran to her aid and pursued the snake. After a few minutes, he returned to check on Amaka, who was still sitting on the floor in incredulity. He assured Amaka he had killed the snake, but she was too afraid to move. So he held Amaka in his arms and carried her home. As she sat securely in his arms, her face resting on his chest, she began to feel drawn to Ifanye. When they arrived at her house, Amaka offered to pay an excessive amount for all the bushmeat Ifanye had caught that day. Ifanye was ecstatic that Amaka paid twice the price of the bushmeat. Amaka begged Ifanye to always bring her bushmeat whenever he caught any, not because she desired it, but because she had fallen in love with Ifanye's physique and demeanor. She wanted to see him and be with him all the time because her husband hardly had any time for her. One day, she went to see her friend Ada and noticed how well she got along with Ameka. She noticed that Ada had gotten more attractive with time, but Amaka appeared older with her age since she was constantly miserable and depressed, despite having access to whatever she desired. She grumbled to Ada about her matrimonial house. Ada comforted her and told her to persevere. Ada told her it was a cross she had to carry. Amaka left Ada's house feeling hurt and depressed. She wished she had embraced Ameka when he approached the two of them. When Amaka reached home, she began crying. In that moment, Ifanye the hunter brought some bushmeat for her. When he heard her crying, he went into the hut and attempted to calm her. Amaka grieved bitterly and opened up to Ifanye. While she wailed, she kissed him, and Ifani kissed her too, and they made love. Ada complained of a stomachache after they had finished making love. She begged Ifani to get her some water. Ifani promptly left the hut and fetched a cup of water. When he went back inside the hut, he couldn't find Amaka. All he saw were her clothes and jewelry. Ifani felt terrified and alerted the other women. When they entered her hut, they lifted her jewelry and clothing. To their utter surprise, they discovered a snail beneath her garments. The eldest of the wives remembered the stories she had heard from her grandparents about the curse placed on Ukam village during the reign of King Musa. Nobody thought it to be true, but the fear of finding out kept every married woman in check. But now it was confirmed that truly the curse existed. When Chief Kanayo returned, he was informed of what had occurred. He brought Amaka, the snail, to the village's spiritualists, who stated there was nothing they could do. So, they put Amaka, the snail, inside a basket in the village square. Every morning, they fed her water and food. She remained there for the remainder of her life as a warning to other married ladies who intended to cheat on their husband. That's it for this story. I hope you really enjoyed. The important lesson that I picked up from this story is that whenever you choose wealth over compassion, just know that it's going to backfire. Wealth can be exhausted, but our personalities are made up of core values. They stay with us until our deaths. And in case of love, I think that it is better to remain single than to marry someone you don't love. Thank you very much for watching, but before the end, I have a question for you. From which country are you watching this video? Make sure to tell me in the comments. Till next time.
It was foretold that if the prince did not find true love before his 18th birthday, he would meet an untimely demise. The queen, concerned for the happiness of her beloved dwarf prince, arranged a competition among 7 virgins to find his true love. Time was of the essence, for a prophecy foretold that the prince must find true love before his 18th birthday, or face an untimely demise. Under the watchful eyes of the queen and her vigilant guards, the 7 virgins were secluded in chambers, their every move monitored closely. To the queen's dismay, she witnessed acts of deceit and manipulation among the maidens, as some tried to win the prince's favor through cunning schemes and illicit advances. However, amidst the chaos, a silent figure caught the queen's attention. Kate, a maiden with long hair and striking green eyes, yet shunned by her peers due to her muteness. Intrigued by Kate's quiet demeanor, the queen summoned an interpreter to uncover her story. Through the interpreter, the queen learned of Kate's tragic past, orphaned at birth, mistreated by her stepmother, and robbed of her voice by a cruel potion. Despite her hardships, Kate remained resilient, her spirit unbroken. Moved by Kate's tale of resilience and captivated by her silent strength, the queen saw beyond her muteness and recognized the purity of her heart. Determined to give Kate a voice and a chance at love, the queen intervened in the competition. In a dramatic twist, the queen announced Kate as the chosen one, much to the astonishment of the court. With tears of joy streaming down her face, Kate expressed her gratitude through silent gestures, her eyes speaking volumes. United by fate and blessed by the queen's benevolence, Kate and the dwarf prince embarked on a journey of love and understanding, defying all odds and proving that true love knows no boundaries, not even silence. And so, in the kingdom's annals, the legend of the mute maiden who found her voice in love and the dwarf prince who found his heart's desire became immortalized for generations to come. Their love was a mystery to many, for how could 2 souls communicate without words? But the dwarf prince found solace in Kate's silent presence, for in her eyes he saw not pity or revulsion, but unwavering affection. As the fateful day of the dwarf prince's 18th birthday drew near, the kingdom braced itself for the impending tragedy foretold by the seers. Yet, on the eve of his birthday, disaster struck as the dwarf prince collapsed, his breath faltering as life slipped away from him. Desperate pleas echoed through the palace halls as physicians from far and wide were summoned, their expertise failing to halt the prince's decline. Amidst the chaos, Kate remained steadfast by the dwarf prince's side, her heart heavy with grief at the thought of losing her beloved. In the stillness of the night, with tears streaming down her cheeks, Kate leaned in to press a gentle kiss upon the dwarf prince's lips, bidding him farewell in the only way she knew how. And then, as if by some miracle, the dwarf prince stirred from his slumber, his eyes fluttering open to meet hers. Queen Adama, entering the chamber at that moment, could scarcely believe her eyes as she beheld her son, alive and well. Joyous celebrations erupted throughout the kingdom as news of the dwarf prince's miraculous recovery spread like wildfire. Amidst the revelry, the dwarf prince and Kate stood hand in hand, their love a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting hues of gold and crimson across the sky, the kingdom rejoiced in the union of their beloved dwarf prince and his mute maiden, for theirs was a love that defied all odds. As the imminent coronation drew near, the weight of responsibility bore heavily upon him, for he feared that his unborn child would inherit his condition of dwarfism. The memories of his own childhood struggles haunted him, and he vowed to spare his offspring from the same hardships he endured. Desperate for a solution, the dwarf prince sought counsel from the depths of the kingdom's lore, where whispers of a powerful witch echoed through the winds. Ignoring his wife's warnings, he resolved to seek out the witch, believing her dark arts held the key to his child's fate. Unbeknownst to him, Queen Kate, wise and discerning, recognized the folly of such a venture. She remembered all too well the perilous encounter with the witch that nearly claimed her husband's life. Determined to protect both her husband and their unborn child, she took decisive action. Summoning her most trusted guards, Queen Kate instructed them to venture into the treacherous depths of the evil forest, where the witch purportedly dwelled. Their mission was clear: to find the witch and eradicate her before the dwarf prince could fall prey to her machinations. But fate had other plans in store. As the brave guards ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon a malevolent curse laid by the witch herself. Before they could react, a horde of ravenous alligators emerged from the murky depths, tearing through the ranks of the palace guards with ruthless efficiency. As night fell, Queen Kate anxiously awaited the return of the guards, her heart heavy with dread. But as the hours passed, it became painfully clear that her loyal soldiers would never return, lost to the sinister forces that lurked within the evil forest. With her resolve hardened and her determination unyielding, Queen Kate vowed to protect her family at any cost. For she knew that true strength lay not in seeking out dark magic, but in the unwavering love and devotion that bound her to her husband and their unborn child. And so, amidst the looming shadows of uncertainty, Queen Kate stood as a beacon of hope, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in her quest to safeguard her family's future.
Once upon a time, in a small village called Mbaitolu, there lived a remarkable woman named Ugochi. She was known throughout the land for her beauty, kindness, and incredible fertility. From a young age, Ugochi dreamed of having a large family of her own. She was the eldest daughter in a family of 7 children, and she cherished the joy and chaos that come with a bustling household. At the age of 18, Ugochi married the love of her life, a strong and gentle man named Chukwuebuka. Together, they embarked on their journey to build a family. Much to their delight, Ugochi became pregnant shortly after their wedding, and 9 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Adanna. Over the years, Ugochi and Chukwuebuka welcomed more and more children into their home. Ugochi seemed to be blessed with the ability to conceive effortlessly, and with each passing year, her family grew larger and larger. She gave birth to twins, triplets, and even quadruplets. Each arrival was celebrated with joy and gratitude by the entire village. Despite the challenges of raising such a large family, Ugochi and Chukwuebuka were devoted parents who worked tirelessly to provide for their children. They taught them the importance of hard work, respect for others, and the value of community. As word of Ugochi's extraordinary fertility spread, families from neighboring villages began to seek her advice and blessings. She became a revered figure known as the mother of many, admired for her strength, resilience, and unwavering love for her children. By the time Ugochi reached the age of 40, she had given birth to an astonishing 48 children. Her home was always filled with laughter, chatter, and the sweet sounds of children playing. Despite the challenges of raising such a large family, Ugochi wouldn't have had it any other way. She considered herself blessed beyond measure and thanked the heavens every day for the gift of her children. And so, the legend of Ugochi, the African lady who gave birth to 48 children before the age of 40, lived on for generations to come, a testament to the power of love, family, and the extraordinary miracle that can happen in the most unexpected place.